Hey folks, been doing a lot of kayak fishing where I'm focused on having as low a profile as possible in terms of my entire rig, including the rod sticking up. Rod sticking up in some fisheries like inshore or offshore or places where you don't have a lot of overhead obstructions is not an issue, and it's very easy to, with a BlackPak, you get the rod tubes and put them so you have the rod sticking straight up. I fish a lot of places where that just doesn't work, and what I do to deal with that is I work on horizontal rod storage. I'm going to show you two different ways to have good horizontal rod storage, one of which includes doing a little custom work on the BlackPak here. So we'll jump right in and I'll show you what I have going on here. This is part of an Omega rod holder. We have the entire Omega rod holder right back here, and I still use that in its position behind the seat. But in addition, I'll get a second rod on the same side. The one that's back there is going to be somewhere in this position right here, and then this one's a little bit higher, and the rods are pointed back. That way, when I go underneath docks or I'm working a flooded riverbank and I got branches hanging down, I don't have these rods hitting that. It's they're pointed back and they're protected. So let's jump right in and look at the parts needed. I actually have two things on here. This is the Panfish Portrait Pro. That's my camera mount. That's one of the interesting positions that I like, that over-the-shoulder shot with actually the camera I'm using, so I can't really show you, but it sits right up there. I can switch that, with that extra lock and load base on either side. I'm getting ready to put a second one of those right here, and these are, it's nice to have extra ones of these. You can certainly purchase extra lock and load bases for multiple camera angles. But what I have here to enable just the top portion of, and I'm gonna pluck this off and show you, of the Omega rod holder, I took this bottom portion off and I just used the hardware that was there and the knob, and I'll put that back, to install on this right here. It's the Mighty Mount adapter. That in conjunction with a Mighty Bolt, and I have, these are actually 2 inches, but this is the 1.5 with a 1/4 20 lock nut, and then this is a deep socket 7/16, and then just to finish it off, just an adjustable wrench. So I'll set up my tripod and just show you step by step how to do that setup. So the first thing I'm going to do, I actually have the Omega Pro rod holder. It has that longer length in there. I'm just going to take the head of it off there, and we're going to put this aside. I will keep all of this along with the lock and load base for it. I'll kind of put that aside because sometimes I use these for trolling, for striper fishing out on the bay, and I like having these longer ones that elevate it up and keep my rods, up at a level that's easy to grab when they're out in front of me. But this is a different application, and I'm just gonna put this, put the screw and the bolts aside. I'm gonna pull this apart. This is what I'm interested in using. We'll go ahead and open the 90-degree Mighty Mount adapter. So I'm taking the spring out. I think I can leave the bolts in. Let's see, how did I do it on that side? I'm actually going to be facing it the opposite way here than I did that one. So it's going to be, yep, it's going to be on the outside. So the idea is that I'm going wide enough so that when I lift the lid on the BlackPak, it's clearing it. It's not hitting the rod holder. So really this 90-degree Mighty Mount adapter is getting the this part of it just outside of the range of, you know, when you lift the rod or lift the lid on the BlackPak so it can clear it. So I'm just taking that bolt and sticking it through there. I don't really need the spring, but I do need to sort of hammer down on this screw to keep it happy and tight. And it's got the interlocking, I don't know what you call it. these guys, these little graduated teeth. All right, so now we need to get that there like I did the other one. I'll open up my BlackPak, and I'm gonna take the 1.5 inch mighty bolt, and I'm just dropping it down in that little slot. And it's gonna drop down through this hole and sit right there. And I got this little, you know, lock nut on there that fits the threads here. I've tested that, and it's good to go. And drop that down in. I'm gonna finger tight it, and then I have my 7/16 deep socket. And I got a long ways to go here to thread that. And I can get most of it done with the deep socket. The last little bit I have to do with the adjustable wrench there. So it's okay if there's a little bit of play in it, because it gives you actually some adjustment on which way your rod holder is pointed, left, right, or straight. But that's too loose. That one's actually doing pretty good. I can make that adjustment. It's on there, not totally snug. I'm going to do the last little bit with this. So righty tighty, lefty loosey. If I'm up in that box looking straight up at it, that's got to go like this. Okay. Not a whole lot of room in there, but you can kind of twist it around from the top. All right, and I need a little bit more. That's certainly feeling more snug. Now, on the 90-degree Mighty Mount adapter, that T-bolt base being upside down like that, it's not going to slide out because it's got a little lip there, so we're good to go. The last little bit, just to give me an extra position to put my rod holder, or not my rod holder, but my camera mount, which honestly you could actually stick Omega Pros up on top here and then have another layer of rods if you wanted, as long as you know everything would clear here. Right now we're in good shape as far as that's concerned, but I want to put this other lock and load base right there, and what you do with it is up to you. I'm putting camera mounts on it. Certainly a lot of different accessories that can go through these holes that are just pre-drilled in the BlackPak, ready to go. Slide that up through there. T-bolt's just sticking up enough, and I'm just turning this knob and I'll cinch it down. Then I got another camera angle. So I'll be getting this on the water next, I think on Sunday, 2 days from now. And as much rain as we've had, that's not grabbing. I imagine that reservoir is quite full. And the river, I mean, I was in the Susquehanna 2 days ago and it was raging. It was a mess. All right, so we get down towards the end and really hammer on that. maybe I give it a little extra. Not the right tool for it, but it'll work. Let's see. Usually finger tight is good, but I make sure when my cameras are on these things that they are really jammed on there good. Because I like my cameras. That's going nowhere. All right. That's the customization. Let's get it on the water here in a few days, and I'll show you what that looks like going underneath tree branches and getting some really cool different camera angles